me, Elaina. So me and my sister made a YouTube channel, obviously. We do have a book talk. It'll be in the description. Go check that out. And we have been doing book talk for like a month. We've been doing it like a month or two, honestly. We've been doing it for a while and it's a lot of fun, like a lot of fun. In today's video, I'm actually copying what my sister did because we literally have planned this out for weeks. We will branch off and do our own videos at different times, but for now, just so you guys can like get to know our book taste and get to know us a little better, we thought it'd be more fun to do the same video. So I'm gonna be doing the mid-year book tag. Basically, this consists of like 15 questions about books, and I'm gonna be answering them with books. I'm gonna give you my honest answers, my honest reviews, just like what I think about the books and how I answer these questions. Let's get into the video. First question is, best book you read in 2023? I have to go with Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. The second I read it, I knew it was gonna be my favorite book ever. I read this book in a day. I'm not even kidding, like I read it before school. So I read it the night before I had school, woke up and finished it before I went to school. So I am obsessed with this book. I love Archer. He's one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. Whenever I like feel myself like going into a slump or just like I'm not enjoying what books I'm reading, I go back to this one and I reread it. Book, actually my sister put me onto this book. She read it and she absolutely loved it and I enjoyed it and I cried and I laughed. Both of Archer and Bree's backstories are just so sad and you get a lot of their backstories, and like literally this book just made me cry. And I know you're probably like, okay, well, why is it so good if it literally made you cry? But it made me like laugh, cry, happy, sad. This is my like all-time favorite book of the year. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far. It's going to be a little bit controversial. So I don't know if you can consider this a sequel, but I asked my sister and she said it's considered a sequel. So it's Hunting and Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I don't even want to talk about this. I read these books last month. I'm pretty sure I read these books and I haven't stopped thinking about them since. If you don't know, this is a dark romance. Like I'm pretty sure this is one of the darkest romances out there. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely one of the darkest I've read. Rating any of these books over 4 stars just felt so wrong because of how dark and heavy the topics were. If you don't know what these two books are about, they follow Adeline and Zaid. The first one I would say is definitely a lot less, not as dark as this one, maybe. Basically it's a stalker romance. It's like Zaid stalks her. He's literally called the Shadow. So the first one is more about like her life and him stalking her. There's the iconic gun scene everyone knows and loves in this book, and I love this book. I don't know why. Definitely check trigger warnings before you go into this book. Like there's a whole list of trigger warnings. This whole section is the trigger warnings. Like these books are really triggerful, I don't know. Hunting Adeline was a whole nother story for me. This one really just felt like not like the first one, like at all, because it's split into 2 parts. In part 1, this is part 2, but in part 1 was literally so traumatizing to me. Put it down for like 3 seconds and picked it back up, you know? That's just like how reading these books felt. You put it down for 3 seconds and then you pick it back up. Like I couldn't stop reading them. They were so good. This one was definitely a lot more dark than the first one. Like I read the first one, I thought I could handle it, and I was like, oh yeah, like this is easy, like I could handle this. And then you go into this and you're completely thrown for the loop and you are just like, you're like this, like, you know, you're like that's my exact reaction to reading both of these books. I love these books and I love the covers, and they literally on my nightstand, they're displayed on my nightstand. That's how much I love them. Third question is new release you haven't read yet but you want to. This is gonna be the most popular opinion ever. It is Fourth Wing by, I don't know who it's by actually, but it's Fourth Wing. I'll put it up on the screen. Literally everyone is reading this book, and I've seen it on Instagram, on TikTok, on like Pinterest. I've literally seen it everywhere. I really want to read it because I know it's about dragons. I know that's it. I've never read a book about dragons. I've read about fairies, and I'm like, I need more fantasy in my life, you know, like I need more. I'm so excited to read, to like get Fourth Wing and read it. Everyone is reading it. Everyone's talking about it. I just need it in my possession and I need to read it. Fourth question is your most anticipated read of 2023. It's definitely Things We Left Behind by Miss Lucy Score, obviously. I read both of the books that are out of the Knockabout series, which is Things We Never Got Over and Things We Hide from the Light, which we will later see those maybe. And I'm so excited for Lucine and Salone's book. You have no idea. Their book comes out, I think, in September or August. I don't remember. I know it comes out later in the year. Just like, I can't wait to read that book. Like, I don't even care if I don't have the physical copy. I will read it on Kindle. I'm so excited. Lucy Score is one of my like favorite authors now. So I'm like so excited to read Lucine and Salone's book. Number 5 is biggest disappointment of 2023. The biggest disappointment was Consider Me by Becca Mack. This is a hockey romance that I literally did not finish. I have 100 pages left, and I genuinely, you can't make me read this book. I've read this much, have 100 pages left. I can't do it. I can't pick this book up. I can't read it any longer. I can't do it. Carter, for me, he's just so like icky. Like the first like 100 pages, couldn't do it. Like I did it. I did it though. I did. But like it was so impossible. And I know this originally came from Wattpad, which is probably why I'm not obsessed with it. I love the girl Olivia. I love her. But like Carter, I don't like him. You cannot convince me that I will ever finish the 100 pages of this book. Question 6 is biggest surprise of 2023. Biggest surprise was definitely Mile High by Liz Tomford. I had this book on my shelf for a super long time. It was flight attendant and hockey, and I was like, how is this like ever gonna be interesting? You know, like how is this ever gonna be fun? Like how am I ever gonna like this? So I gave it a chance. I love this book. This is definitely one of my favorite books. This is like up there with Archer's Voice. I'm not even kidding. This is up there. You really just have to read it. Like it's really about like body image, and Evan Xander's such a good boyfriend, such a good book boyfriend. He's definitely one of my favorites, and I really want to read Right Move, which is the second book, which is about Stevie's brother, Ryan Shea. I'm pretty sure everyone has heard about him. I love this book. I really didn't think I was gonna like it because I thought it was gonna be a lot about like flight stuff, and I don't know what I was thinking, and I just wasn't gonna like it. But I read it and it was so good. I literally sobbed at this book. It wasn't like sad, but it was like sad, you know? It was sad. It was sad. I say this book was like pretty sad, but it was also really good, and I really liked it, and I rated this book like 5 stars because I love it. Question 7 is your new favorite author. I have to go with Miss Lucy Score. Just this year, I've like really gotten into her books. I've read all of them. I'm currently reading Forever Never, and I'm planning on reading a few more of her books, but I don't know. She's definitely my new favorite author just because she's wrote so many good book boyfriends. Like every single one of these boyfriends I'm holding, every single one of these book boyfriends I'm holding is so good. Just her writing is so good. Her epilogues, literally, I think every single epilogue I've cried. Her epilogues are so beautiful, and she's just like the queen of epilogues. And I just love her, and I will buy whatever. I will buy whatever she does. I love her book boyfriends. I love how grumpy and broody and big, and I just love her. Okay, I love her. Question 8 is newest fictional crush. I can't choose between Nash and Dominic, so I'm gonna talk about them both. By a Thread. I recently read this book. I think I read this book last month as well. And I gave this book 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I love Dominic. A lot of people I heard were saying they didn't like him because he was just like flat out rude and he was just like mean. You just have to understand why he does what he does. If you really want to start reading Lucy Score, I definitely recommend picking up By a Thread. Oh, there's a Barnes & Noble book thing I got out of there. We're still on the same question. We have Things We Hide from the Light, which is the second book in the Knock 'Em Out series. The first one is Things You Never Got Over. This is the second one. Nash Morgan, his name's Nash Morgan. It's Knox's Morgan's brother. He's a police officer, and something traumatic happened in the first book, and this is him kind of like recovering. It's more of like the mystery aspect of Lucy Score than like her romance, I would say. But a lot of her books are just like going on day by day, you know, like how people live their life day by day. I feel like the romance was just so like this many pages left. There was like little bits of romance here and there, but it wasn't like the whole thing wasn't just like romance. It was a lot of like, you know, he's a police officer, she's like some secret agent thing. It was really cute, and I really like this book, and I really like Nash. He's definitely one of my favorite book boyfriends ever. I think just because I love him so much because he's in my head as Chris Evans, and just like something about Chris Evans in a, you know, police suit, like who wouldn't love that? The 9th question is a book that made you cry. So I have 2 books for this question as well. I have Archer's Voice, again, we already talked about it, and Mile High. We talked about this one as well, but we're gonna talk about them a little bit more. I cried because both of their backgrounds is so just sad, and every time I cry I do like little tear marks on my page because I like to go back and remember like why I cried, where I cried, you know. But like learning about Archer's story was just like heartbreaking, so sad. And then we have Mile High by Liz Tomford. I literally think I just talked about this book, but I'm gonna talk about it again. I think the reason I cried to this book was because I feel like I relate so much to Stevie. When you read about something, like a character you relate to, and you guys like go through like the same things, I feel like it's just, it hits so hard because you know exactly what the character's feeling. They act out and you're just like I understand why you're acting out, like I understand why I feel like that. Like it just really like hits hard when you really relate to a character. Question 10 is books that made you happy. Again, I have 2 books for this. Are we really that shocked? These are like the most original BookTok books like ever. I have The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Obviously, everyone has read that book. I have The Unhoneymooners by Christina and Lauren. This book made me happy just because Adam Carlton is just, he's so just like chef's kiss all around. And definitely fake dating is one of my favorite tropes because of this book. Like this book set the tone for fake dating for me. I love him so much. I love this book, and I literally definitely am gonna reread this book. I don't know when, but I'm definitely planning on rereading it because it was so good. This is also fake dating, and we're seeing a common theme here. I love fake dating trope. I don't know what it is. When it's done right, it's so good. It's Enemies to Lovers as well. It's so good. It's so well written. It's just beautiful. And I'm definitely gonna reread this one as well because I'm really missing the feeling of this book, and they just make me so happy. The covers are so cute. They literally just remind me, like looking at them just remind me of like OG BookTok times. And question 11 is favorite book / movie adaptation. Now this was kind of a hard one for me because I read a lot of books that turn into movies, but I don't watch the movies because I'm not really a movie girl. I'm definitely more of like a book girl, clearly. But I have to go with the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. I read this like in the beginning of the year, like very early on. I read these books. Read the first one in a day and gave it like 3 stars. It wasn't my favorite. It's definitely more of like a nostalgic book. I read the second one. This one took me a really long time to get through because I just felt like this one was just so depressing. Like the beginning of this one was so sad. We have the third one, which I read. This one was just like, I feel like we didn't need this one. Like, yeah, we needed the closure, but like, did we really? The TV show on Amazon Prime is so much better than the books, like a billion times % better. I am in love with the show. I have literally watched the show so many times. It's not even funny. and I feel like they didn't really follow the books, but it's fine because it was still really good. Question 12 is the most beautiful book you've bought this year. I don't know if it meant like beautiful cover or like beautifully written, but I just chose the cover. I have Ignite Me by Tahira Mafi, or Tahira Mafi. I don't know how you say her name, but this cover is just so beautiful. I love the eyeball. Like, I don't know why. I just love the eyes on each cover are just so beautiful to me. I just love this book so much. I literally rate this book 5 stars. And I loved the Shatter Me series. I love that series. I feel like the trilogy is just what we needed, but I definitely am gonna read more because I'm really excited to continue the series. Wait, I literally have messed up this whole thing. So question 13, which is actually gonna be the last one because I somehow messed up this order. What book do you really need to buy by the end of this year? And it's definitely, I have to say, A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames. I'm saying these books because I have the first 3 books in the Axar series, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, and A Court of Wings in Ruin. But I have only read A Court of Thorns and Roses and A Court of Mist and Fury. I haven't yet picked up A Court of Wings and Ruin just because I don't want this series to be like over. Like, I don't want this series to be over. I'm really gonna be upset when I finish this 700-page book. I'm gonna be really excited because I get closer to Cassian's book. I'm really excited to read this book. I literally haven't been in the fantasy mood for so long. I need to get back into it. That's the end, you guys. We did it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed my sister's video as well. If you haven't go watch it, make sure you definitely go watch it. It's so good. She's so cute. But I had a lot of fun filming this, and I feel like having a book channel is just going to be so much better than having to fit everything in a 15-second video on TikTok. I'm definitely planning on doing more book videos than just like sit downs, you know, because I feel like if I just like sit down, I'm just like, oh, this book, oh, so beautiful, this book's so good, and that's kind of boring, you know. I feel like I gotta spice it up a little bit, so I'm definitely planning on doing a lot of other videos like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you definitely go check out Isabel's video and stay tuned for future videos. I'll see you guys later. Bye!